So for my first book review slash discussion on this channel, I'm going to be talking about Kurt Vonnegut Jr.'s The Sirens of Titan. So I guess full disclosure is kind of becoming my catchphrase, but full disclosure, in the great debate of nerddom, Philip K. Dick versus Kurt Vonnegut, I'm on Team Philip K. Dick. So, you know, take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. This is actually only my third Vonnegut book, although I've read some of his short stories as well. Vonnegut and I both native Hoosiers, which if you read Cat's Cradle, you know that plays kind of a role in the plot. Of his books, I would say this isn't as well known as I feel like it should be. You know, everybody knows Slaughterhouse-Five. Everybody knows Cat's Cradle. Everyone knows Breakfast of Champions because it has a catchy title, although I've never read that one. Sirens of Titan, I mean, it was really good. It had some really great ideas in it. Actually, if you look on Goodreads, it's a really, really well reviewed. I had some problems with it. Again, I'm not a Vonnegut fan. You know, there's a segment of the population out there that loves everything he does and thinks he's a genius. There's a Vonnegut Museum in Indianapolis. If you haven't been, go check it out. I'm not in that camp, but I really liked Slaughterhouse-Five quite a bit, and Cat's Cradle I liked after the fact. Like, while I was reading it, I was sort of so-so on it. Well, this one starts off really, really well. You know, I'll kind of only tell you some things that you learn in the first few pages, but there's this guy who's been dematerialized via some MacGuffin, and now he appears and he reappears periodically, sort of on a schedule. So the three main characters are him, his wife, and this other random guy who sort of shows up, who's the richest man in the world, I believe. And the story goes from there. Something of note, I mean, I'm used to reading really, really long books, but compared to Slaughterhouse-Five or Cat's Cradle, this one's pretty big at 300 pages, over 300 pages. And it didn't take me too long. I slowed down as I was reading it because I kind of lost interest. There are some twists and there are some turns and things like that. And usually that'll sort of egg me on to read a book and finish it as fast as possible. But in this case, yeah, I didn't really feel them. Some of the ideas that it plays with that I really, really like, there's, you know, predestination. Although Slaughterhouse-Five kind of taps into that as well. There's religious overtones, which, you know, Vonnegut was always touching on religious overtones, apparently. Certainly Cat's Cradle has that as well. Overall, I would put it this way. I understand the appeal, but it's not for me. I mean, I liked it. I like it better that I'm sitting here kind of discussing it. But while I was reading it, I mean, I wasn't super interested. I picked this up at the library book sale, and it had always been in my Goodreads queue to read. So when I saw it, I thought, oh, yeah, I'll definitely read that. And, bought it for $1, and it sat on the shelf for about a year, and this Christmas break, I was able to get it. Read it on a few plane trips. But overall, yeah, I don't know. This is definitely one to check out, and if you like Vonnegut, which again, I favor Philip K. Dick, but you know, if you like Vonnegut, I'd say it's a must. I would say it's an absolute must to read. For me, some of the stuff Vonnegut does, I sort of roll my eyes, and I'm like, yeah, the '60s. You were all about the '60s, weren't you? But yeah, definitely check this out, and you know, even if you give up about a third of the way through, it makes good dinner party discussion. So, if you've read this, or you've read the Slaughterhouse-Five or Cat's Cradle or something, and you want to discuss that in the comments, feel free. I'd love to hear your opinions on the book, and like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate that. I'm really trying to get this channel going so that I can finance my comic book habit, and help my wife out there with that. So, let me know if you like the book reviews or not. I promise you I got more positive book reviews coming, where I'll, kind of give a more glowing one. But the first two are going to be negative, because coming up next is Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, which I also found at the library book sale. and I was not a real fan of this. I majored in history in college, so there's a lot I didn't like about this. But if you look online, there's a lot of legitimate criticisms for it. So yeah, tune in next time, and you can learn about Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee.